Hey guys, welcome to the new season of Premier League and with that, FPL for the first game week. So, what we'll be doing here is too many options, too many good options to start with, and that's why I think it would be really important to first identify what would be the ideal formation. So, what I've done here is we can start look at the options from all three formations. We'll look at 3-4-3, we'll look at 4-5-1, we'll also take a look at 5-4-1 and also 4-4-2, and then we'll select for the best one and watch out for that at the end. So let's just start with the 3-4-3. Yeah, the defenders. So these are the ones I've gone with. So obviously the three to choose from are James, Alexander Arnold, and Cancelo, and the goalkeeper here should be Allison. So what you can do is you can either opt for a 5 million and save zero point 0.5 here. But the main thing which I noticed from last season was the difference between of Allison and say the next good goalkeeper with the most number of points. The difference of points was almost 30 to 40. So that is a huge a return which you get for zero point 0.5 million. That is why I went with Allison. But always you can opt for say Robert Sanchez or Nick Pope, Aaron Ramsdale as well. So these are the good options in 5 million. Moving on to defense, I don't think there's much explanation required. Alexander Arnold is a must, also followed by Cancelo and Reece James. But if you want to save some money here, I think you can replace Reece James because so far we haven't seen Chelsea in the best of form in the preseason. So I think it would take time even if they get into back in their shape and form. So it is safe to go with other options. I think good options here would be Zinchenko for five because he might be playing in the midfield when Tierney is fit. Also, Matt Target. I think Newcastle defense would be pretty solid this time, and Matt Target also is a good creating assists going forward. So he or Trippier as well. He's also at 5 million. So there are quite a few options if you want to go for below six or replace Reece James. And just to make up the squad, I've gone with Nico Williams and Vestergaard. Then we'll move on to the midfielders. So these are the ones which I believe will give us the maximum returns. So my four midfielders would be Neto, Salah, Harvey Barnes, and Martinelli. So I think Martinelli has improved creatively a lot, and we can see that in the preseason form as well. And Harvey Barnes, I think he has improved a lot in the last season, and this season he would be the main starter in the first 11 as well. And I think with Leicester's other players coming back, it's a good opportunity, and he will get a lot more attacking options going forward. Salah, no need to explain. I think he will continue his great form. And next one is Neto. So for 5.5, Neto is a very good option, and he was injured for most part of the last season, but he is amazing going forward, and I think he will be a lot of he's worth the money of a 5.5. And then yeah, for three, I think Callum Wilson. The only issue with him is injury. Otherwise, if he stays fit, Newcastle definitely look good for the second part of the last season, and I think they will continue improving going forward this season as well. And he will be their main striker if he stays fit. And for 7.5 is definitely worth including in your side. Second is Ivan Tony, and Ivan Tony is like just bullies the defenders. So for 7 million, he will fetch you good points throughout the season. And third option, Harry Kane. So here you might think of going with Haaland or Nunez or Gabriel Jesus as well. But I think the form which he was in the last season after Antonio Conte took the charge, it improved drastically. And he also takes penalties. So there is, you could select between Kane and Son. But in spite of having poor form at the beginning of the season, he was not far behind Son at the end of the season. So I think he will start right away in this season, and he also takes penalties. So that's another added point. So that is why I went with Kane. With Haaland, the issue I feel is he will take at least a few games to get going, understand how City plays and all, and it is a risk. But with Kane, we exactly know he'll hit the ground running right from game week one. So this is how. But in case you want to go with Haaland, you can straight away swap with Kane. But eh, yeah, if you go with Nunes, you'll save additional points here. Then you can uh, adjust that in the midfield. The good options are Saka, Bowen, or even Kulusevski. Kulusevski is a very good option because he joined in January and he got 9 goals and 5 assists. So that is a pretty good return. So you can add him as well. So my playing 11 for this formation would be this. And I think, as I mentioned, if you just feel like replacing James or you go with Nunez instead of Kane, then you can adjust accordingly in the midfield as well. Next, we'll move on to next formation, which is 4-5-1. And this can also apply to 5-4-1, and we'll see both in this case. So, yeah, 4-5-1 will have four defenders. Again, what I've done is I have retained Alexander Arnold, Cancelo, James because there are not many good midfielder options. So we can go big on defenders who we know can keep clean sheets as well as create and get assist goals. So with these four, Alexander Arnold, Cancelo, James are mainstays, but Lisandro Martinez is a very good option for 4.5. We can also go for, I think, Malacia, who's also at 4.5, but I included Martinez because I know he's a sure shot starter, but we cannot be sure of that with Malacia. And Ben White. Ben White, I think, can play at in multiple positions. He will play center back. He can play right back, and in some cases, he might be used as a defensive midfielder as well. So, according to the fixtures, you can keep on rotating between Martinez and White for the four defenders, and keep Alexander Arnold, Cancelo, and James as the mainstays. Yeah, and this the midfield looks strong for 4-5-1. And I think, as I discussed earlier, Salah and Kulusevski speak for them with their stats. Martinelli, also I mentioned, he will be immense going forward as he has improved creatively with his crosses and holding up the ball. And Madison. So, in spite of not starting many games in the beginning of last season, his stats were still good. In fact, better than the likes of Odegaard and Saka, who probably had a good season, but still Madison had better stats than them. And then with the one striker, we have Kane. Again, if you want to replace Kane with Haaland, you can go ahead. But as I mentioned, Kane would hit the ground running. And also, if you go with Nunez or Jesus, you can adjust that with the defense. You can add someone like maybe Chilwell, or also Kyle Walker or Diaz, who know you can keep clean sheets. And also, if you can add that amount in midfielders, you replace Martinelli with another 8 million point with Saka, or 8.5 with someone like uh 8.5 with someone like, sorry, 8.5 with someone like Bowen. Also, another very good option in midfield is Rashford. So he's for 6.5, which is, I think, if he improves even a bit of his form from last year, and if Eric Ten Hag can get his team sorted and play the way he wants, he could give a lot of assists and goals. So you can consider Rashford as well in this. And this would be my playing 11 for 4-5-1, as I mentioned. And my 5-4-1 formation would be this. So in 4-5-1, I will be keeping rotating White, Ben White, and Martinez uh, according to the fixtures. And in 5-4-1, I will be rotating with Neto. So these, with this squad of a group of 15 players, you can play 4-5-1 as well as 5-4-1 formation in one. So that is an added advantage. And next we'll look at 4-4-2 formation. Again, here, as I said, I have gone with Alexander Arnold. I have gone with Cancelo. And here I have gone with two 5 million defenders. So Walker I have included because Man City as of now don't have a designated left back. So I believe Cancelo will play on the left and Walker will play on the right. So both of them should start. And otherwise, there are good other options at 5 million. As I said, Zinchenko is there. Then you have Matty Cash, Matt Target. All these are very good options. Even Luca Dean, he is also another wonderful option. And Ben White. So according to the fixtures, maybe you can rotate Trippier and White and see who will get the maximum out of those. Moving to the midfielders, we will have four. So Salah, Rashford, Kulusevski, and Neto are my four mainstays. And as I mentioned, Rashford could be a very good return on investment for this at 6.5. And finally, the forward. So the two forwards have gone with Jesus and Kane. So Jesus will be the starter, and looking at his preseason form, he could be a game changer in FPL as well for 8 million. So this is the 4-4-2, and this will be my starting lineup. And I think we can swap with Walker and other players according to the fixtures. For example, if say Arsenal is playing Crystal Palace first week, and you're not sure because Arsenal most of the times find it difficult playing at Crystal Palace. So you can swap that with Walker and so. So these are the formations that I've covered all, and I believe that 4-4-2 formation will give you the maximum return because Jesus and Kane, two strikers, I believe will score a lot of goals. Kulusevski also he has is good creatively as well as can finish. So he is important. Salah obviously important, and Rashford also, as I said, in the preseason as well, he looked good. So if they can just get if they can click all the Man United players, I think Rashford will start in the playing 11, and Neto will definitely, I think, be amazing this year. So I think 4-4-2 will is the most optimum formation by which you can get most out of the players, I think, and that is why it is good. So that's all from me for game week one, and let's see. Excited for the new season. Thank you.